Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. So today we are dealing with a very tough and a very complicated subject called as the Guruchandala Yoga. This yoga happens when you have Jupiter and Rahu both coming together in a chart. So once again, I am continuously whenever I do combinations of planets, many times I refer to this point that do not take the Rashi Kundali and the bifurcation of Rashi and think that there is a wall in between two planets. Like, for example, if Jupiter is placed at 28 degrees in Aries and Rahu is placed at 3 degrees in Taurus, the yoga, Guru Chandala yoga, is very much there. Whenever we specifically address a yoga or a combination of a planet, apart from everything else, just see the distance between the two planets, and if they are, let us say, around 8 to 15 degrees within the range from one given planet, this will work. So why did I take 15 degrees is because Rahu has a very big arm. The orb of influence of Rahu is as good as the orb of influence of Sun. The orb of influence of the Sun is 15 degrees on either side, and that is why the Rashi is cut at 30 degrees each. So, the Guru Chandala Yoga is such a huge yoga that it cannot be discussed in one video. It is impossible to do it. So, I will be taking out the most important facts, and I will be leaving out some important facts also because I will not be able to cover it in a particular period of time. So let me take some specific points, starting from a negative point list. Because yesterday I started with the Guru Shani, with a positive point, and people were telling me, "Sir, you started beautifully, but you ended up in such a place that I went, I got scared because of the Leo and Cancer Lagnas." Yes, Guru and Saturn, Jupiter and Saturn's combination for Leo and Cancer gives a little bit of difficulty, and we all know that. So, the same way, in this case, I'll be starting it from the negative, but there are positives. I will tell you about them. Weak Jupiter represents fear. What is that fear? The fear of not performing, the fear of failure, the fear of social humiliation. If it is malefically disposed, then he has fear because he has done some unethical things which are morally and socially not acceptable, like taking a bribe, many unethical things which I don't have to list down now. We all know that. If Rahu is weak, all that strength of Rahu, which shows confidence like sun, will fall down and become shameless. See the difference. Jupiter is fearless if it is strong. If it is weak, it becomes fearful. He starts trembling. He doesn't know how to proceed further. Rahu, when it is strong, the person is having confidence and sometimes overconfidence, very stubborn, and he's extremely focused. When it is weak, it is not going to be less focused. If it is weak and it is along with Jupiter, it becomes shameless. When my Guruji was teaching this particular point, he told me one beautiful instance of, imagine a scene when the local, very well known drunkard of a town is a close school classmate of a professor of the same town, and when they meet on the street and they both are, like close buddies, walking hand to hand in hand, and they are going together, you know there is no um, what we call as a barricade for friendship. So, Guru and Chandala, that is a drunkard, a local vagabond, waver drunkard, is a close friend of a highly learned professor. Both were schoolmates. Just think of it, both hand in hand, the hand over his shoulders, hugging each other, talking about their old memories. Now they are walking on the street. What would you imagine? Would they go to a temple, a place of worship, or would that Chandala, that is the drunkard, would take the professor to the bar? It all depends on the time of the event. So the Guru Chandala Yoga is extremely important if it is sitting in the visible half of the chart or in the invisible half of the chart. The invisible dark half of the chart is between the lagna and the midpoint of the seventh house, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The most important point is that it is in the visible half. So that means if the same pair of people, hand in hand, hand over the shoulder, laughing early morning at 7 o'clock, and the professor is well dressed and he is going to office, or he is taking his friend, you will not imagine that they'll go to the bar or they'll go to a liquor shop. No. There, the professor has the strength. He can take his friend to a nice salon, give him a nice makeover, take him to a have a good bath, and then dress him up and take him to a temple. There can be a transformation. So if the planets Jupiter and Rahu are in the visible half, this is the scenario. If they are in the invisible half, the dark half, then it is evening time. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, you have Jupiter and Rahu hand in hand. Obviously you will feel that these guys will end up in the bar. So this is the ideology of how you should understand and analyze Guru Chandala Yoga. Very, very important yoga. So Rahu becomes shameless when he gets involved with Jupiter, and both are weak, and it is in the invisible half between first and seventh, particularly when it goes over the fifth house, goes over the third house, goes over the seventh house. So the 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Try to understand. 1, 3, 5, 7, the odd numbers. Very important. I'll go ahead with the other odd numbers. 9, 11. Beautiful placements for Guru and Chandala. I'll tell you why in the later half. So, going to the positives of Guru Chandala. Strong Jupiter, strong wisdom, knowledge, perseverance. The when it is retrograde, people were asking me when I did Jupiter and Saturn, please include retrogression and also debilitation, exaltation. It is very difficult, boss. Even doing this itself, I cannot complete it. So going for retrogressions, yes, the advanced level will be there. We will do it later on. Need to sit and study and write a lot. So, just including one particular point for retrogression because I don't want to dissatisfy you people. So, reasoning of issues, continuous questioning. Why is it? Who is that? Why is he doing it? Is it important? What is the reason behind it? So, they would want proof and for everything. This is Jupiter when it is retrograde and strong. And now, Rahu, industrial, philanthropic, hardworking, odd hours, whenever you call him. The firefighter does not, tell that it is 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sleep now. I've been awake the whole night. If the fire is going to be there, let it be there. I'll go at 6 o'clock in the morning. No. When the bell rings, they will run like mad. It's like as though, their own house is burning. They act so fast. These people are Rahus. Rahu will never think who's and what is happening. They are like selfless soldiers. So, odd jobs and service. Same thing, Jupiter, a beautiful Jupiter, very modest, is very selfish. So when these two people come together, they can do excellent service in areas where you can't even imagine people work. In areas where nuclear power plants, hard, toxic material, waste material, very tough jobs, hot areas, and particularly toxic, environment. These people can be scientists. They can be explorers of the deep caves. They can be explorers of the deep caverns. These people are very good in their job. So the most important part of this particular combination, when it falls into the ninth or the 11th, as I told you that earlier, I was talking about 1, 3, 5, 7. Now I'm talking about those 2 points, the ninth and the 11th. Why is it that Jupiter and Rahu together in the ninth and the 11th are good? Because from Aries, Jupiter is the ninth lord, and from Aries, Rahu is the 11th lord. So Jupiter and Rahu, when they are sitting in the ninth house, and if they are sitting in the 11th house, they will take care of their elder siblings. If they are sitting in the 11th house, they will take care of their parents if they are sitting in the ninth house. Or let us put a simple blanket rule that they will care the elderly, the palliative care, the pain, what the elderly go through in their old ages. Rahu or Jupiter, any one of the planets, if they are strongly associated with the ninth lord or the ninth house, they will take care of their elderly. So, if this combination is strong, then you can see an extraordinary effort put by these people, which normal human beings cannot do that. So now let me go into another part of it. Like if Jupiter is strong and Rahu is also strong, and they are placed in a mediocre position, then the person, the native, can be overindulgent into many things of life. All the five factors, panchabhutaha, he can be overindulgent into it. That is, he might also be into alcoholism. He might be into non-vegetarian. He might be overindulgent with regard to eating too much, gluttony. But I will tell you, if they are strongly posited, if this particular combination is strongly posited, these people are hardworking, they work out, and they stay fit for a very long period of their lifetime. So, if any one of them is weak, this is the difficulty. They get into indulgence, which might put them into suffering, bad luck due to weak organs, and bad luck because they may fall prey to immunodeficiency, hormonal dysfunctions, kidney disorders, lung disorders. See the big things. These are huge things. So, people who are having Rahu and Jupiter together, please be a little careful with regard to your way of life. Very important. And why that is, let me explain. Panchabhuta, space, light, air, solid, liquids. So I have not taken fire here, but that is what is called as digestion, which is totally ruled by Jupiter. And when Rahu gets into it and it becomes weak, it fails. That is, the liver fails. So that is the fire. The liver is the generator of our body. It gives the fire. It gives the timing. That is why it's called as the body clock. So all these small, minute structures in our body, the villi in the small intestine, the alveoli in the lungs, the glomerulus, which are actually filtering tissues in the kidneys, the pupil, which passes the light through your eyes, and the body cavity, which actually supports all the organs in the body. There are two cavities, the ventral and the dorsal. So the cavities are actually supporting the organs. The organs cannot be without the body fluid. All these will never perform their duties if Rahu and Jupiter are badly placed in a chart. You have to work out, you have to walk, you have to do your morning exercises, see the sun, meditate with the moon, do all this, or else you will have any one of these telling that I thank you very much, I'm shutting my office down. Be very careful with regard to these things. Villi. Villi is the, in the small intestine, the hair-like structures in the small intestine, which actually absorb the digested food into your bloodstream. It's very, very minute, microscopic. Alveoli, again, air sacs, which are very microscopic in our lungs. You know that after the corona problems, we know how that also get affected. That what we call as marbling effect, or you have a smoothing slab kind of a thing which actually happens inside our lungs, which actually will mask the alveoli and it will be ineffective, and that actually stopped our absorption, and it slowly started cutting down, and people were going through gasping difficulties of breathing. So all that interaction with the panchabhuta will get affected if you have a bad placement of Jupiter Rahu. So the filtering tissues of the kidney, which actually has to throw away the toxics, remove the toxics and throw away. So this is what the kidney does, and if that doesn't work, you go through the dysfunction. Pupil, and how come the pupil, sir? What actually stops there? Jupiter can give you diabetes, and diabetes can give you glaucoma. And glaucoma is the nerve damage which actually happens between the eyes and the brain. So, once again, and you can also have the cataract which can come because of Rahu. So, these are all placements, certain placements in particular placements in the chart. It is not that it happens in one particular placement. We need to see the D1, the Rashi chart, Bhava chart, D9, and the D3, that is the Drakana. So the clouding which actually happens over the eyes, you get that cloud formation. It's also known as a flimsy cloud of cataract. There is also fleshy cataract which happens. So all this happens over the pupil, which will actually damage our sight. Again, the body cavities. Sorry, the body cavities. This is the most important point, which is now overseen by everyone. Excessive indulgence into junk food is making us store unnecessary fat, unnecessary starch, or unnecessary food or toxics in our body cavity in the form of fluids, which is making our children overtly obese earlier in their life. So make them sweat, run, walk, swim, cycle, do whatever they can do in the sun for at least 10 to 15 minutes in the sun, and then in the shade. 1 hour, 1.5 hours of exercise very much required when Jupiter and Rahu are having a confluence in the chart. So remedial measures, very important here. Take care of the elderly. It's very simple. Take care of the destitutes, take care of the elderly, take care of the poor, give food to the animals or adopt them in shelters. This is going to solve most of your problems associated with Jupiter and Rahu. So people who think that Jupiter and Rahu is a bad combination, no, it's not a bad combination. It is all because of your bad routine, your bad management, that you fall prey to organ problems. So it's not a bad combination, it's an extremely strong combination. But the problem is that it is overtaking you rather than you controlling it. So thank you very much for today's class. I hope I have covered substantial subject. Thank you.